This is a WKYT podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Victor and Andrea.
Hello,
I put myself
Victor.
first this time.
You've always put yourself first.
That's true with a lot of life, yeah. So how you doing this
As you
week?
should. You got to look out for number one.
Yeah.
I gave you top billing because, let's be honest, you do the lion's share of the work for this podcast, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do the editing. I take out all of our mistakes.
What
there are many of them.
mistakes?
I really don't. I think so far the only thing I've edited out was maybe an awkward pause when I looked something up. And, maybe a phone call or something. But
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's not been too bad.
We try to keep it kind of loosey-goosey around here, so it's all good.
Yeah, so today's episode will come out the day after Christmas, I believe.
Should we go ahead and talk about what I was so upset about after the last podcast
Oh,
about
yes.
Christmas movies?
Yes, go ahead, rattle that off.
Oh, my gosh. So
I know Mission.
I was very distraught because I forgot Jingle All the Way, which has caused quite the controversy.
Which she considers to be a classic Christmas movie, in which Phil Hartman's great, but I have some serious concerns about
my judgment.
Yeah, it's
I also
scary.
I have yet to see Die Hard, which
Have you watched Ready Player One yet?
another confession. The whole time we were talking about Die Hard, I was thinking of Braveheart. I don't know why. That's honestly what I had in my head.
Those are two very different movies. Yes,
I
one
know.
is set
I was like, is that set at Christmas?
in
I had no
medieval
idea.
times, and the others,
The guys in the kill. That's
80s.
literally that was what was playing in my head. That's how
So you're
clueless
trying to
I
figure
am.
out how Braveheart was a Christmas movie.
I know. I was just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. No, Die Hard is the movie with Bruce Willis. Where
I know that now, but I'm going to get it from the library because, like I said, I can get those for free. So yeah, but I just had to get that off my chest because it's been weighing on me ever since that podcast that I didn't mention Jingle All the Way.
So what is it about Jingle All the Way that you enjoy so much?
That is Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, it does have an appearance from The Big Show, WWE wrestler The Big Show, plays one of the giant Santa Clauses.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's such a weird movie.
Yes.
A lot of Christmas movies, like we said, are such a formula. You know how it's going to play out. This one was so off the wall. I loved it.
I mean, I have seen that movie a lot. I don't know why, but whenever it came out, I watched it over and over, and I think maybe at the time I thought it was good too. But then I think
Then
I
you grew up
out
and
of
grew out of it? Well, I still haven't.
Have you watched Ready Player One yet?
No.
Okay.
I know. I don't know what's... It's on my list of things to do, but like so many other things on my list of things to do, it has yet to be crossed off.
I let Lauren Miner borrow the first 6 Star Wars movies on Blu-ray before she left for her maternity leave, and
she has
still
yet
don't
to
have
listen to them.
So, Lauren, if you're listening to this, watch those Star Wars movies.
Now, just give me maybe if you put a time limit on me, a deadline that I have to watch them by, maybe I'll actually do it.
Jim wants to borrow it when you're done, so you better.
Well, that just gives me even more incentive to never watch it.
That's really bad. All right, so let's talk
anything to aggravate him. I will do it.
So let's talk about today's guest. Speaking of maternity leave, would you like
What
that segue?
a trooper! Oh yeah, that was good. So what a trooper! So you came in.
Yes,
on your
behind the
day
scenes
off on
stuff. I'm
accident.
actually filling in this week. I guess if you're watching this, it was last week, but filling in for Sam Dick a few days. So I'm normally off on Mondays, or I'm normally working Mondays. So I came in, and they gave me a look like, "Why are you here today?" And it turned out I was not supposed to be here. So instead, I thought, well, let's make some chicken salad, and we grabbed Hillary Thornton.
And
to do a
really, we
podcast.
needed to knock a few out anyway, so
Yeah.
it worked out really well. So I'm glad to have you here. And also, it was Hillary's first day back. So we're like, well, I just went up to Jimmy because I was just like, who can we steal for a half hour for a podcast? And he's like, well, Hillary's waiting on a call back. I was like, perfect. Everybody's going to want to hear from her because she's been gone. So we were so happy to have her back and also to just learn more about her.
Yeah, from Lexington, went to Hazard for a little while, came back. You all will hear all of that. But yeah, also just a new mom. So getting to come back and experience the news world through that lens.
Poor thing.
All right,
Godspeed,
everybody.
Hillary. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, we'll see you on the other side. So we are here with Hillary Thornton, new mom, Hillary.
It's so good to have you with us. So by the time that you listen to this, she will have been back for a little while, but today is actually her first day back from maternity leave on the day that we're recording. So Hillary, thank you so much for talking with us.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you look so excited whenever we hit you up this morning, like, hey, Hillary, you're just back, and now come talk about it.
Yeah. Now I came in the door and, as usual, fast pace, which I missed some, so it's good.
Well, Victor just randomly showed up, so we didn't have this planned. We kind of sprang this on you on the last minute.
It turned out I'm not even supposed to be here today, but like
You're
so many
making the
times,
most of your trip.
I forgot to check the schedule, and now I'm here anyway. So
It happens.
And then I'll
what
go
are you
home
gonna
and take
do?
care of some stuff. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But Hillary was supposed to be here today. What was that like? So I guess we should do some background for anybody who hasn't seen the articles or any of the other stuff. We had a whole bunch of new moms, all relatively close together. You, Lauren, Kristen, and then I guess 2 new dads also, me and Lee Kay. So, all that kind of spread out. So what was that like preparing to come back?
It was a range of emotions, I guess. I was good today coming. I was excited to come back. Last week, knowing it was my last week, was a little sad just because it flew by, and it means she's growing up. And last week was cleaning out her drawers and closet, packing away all the newborn clothes that she's outgrown, and it's like, where is time gone?
Yeah, we had 2 weeks ago maybe. I came into my daughter's room, and my wife was holding up a tiny little onesie, and she's like, she's already outgrown it, and tears just streaming down her
Oh,
face.
you guys, you're killing me.
And I was like, well, she's not even walking yet. You're fine. But
so
apparently,
sweet.
every little thing. And so that's the other thing we were talking about, is we realized this is going to be a podcast of 2 new parents.
I was like,
chatting.
I'm not going to
Andrea's-
have anything to contribute. I love babies, but I don't know anything about them.
There you go. That's close enough.
Remember, I was like, is she talking yet? I don't know the milestones for babies. And I'm
Right.
like, they're 6 months. Oh, does she walk?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, Andrea, no.
Yeah, she was holding our daughter, or my daughter, and she started reaching for her earrings, and Andrea's like, "Oh, she can grab them. It's all right." So then she gets a hold of one, and she almost
Ripped my
ripped
ear
it out
off.
your earlobe out.
Yes.
And then Andrea says, "Oh, should I just give them to her?"
I would. I love babies. Okay, but let's go back before the babies, before everything. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in news. How did you decide this was something you wanted to do?
Well, it wasn't till probably second half of college that I really got interested in it. I always thought I was going to go into like physical therapy, sports medicine, something like that. But
You were an athlete in high school.
I
right?
was. So I thought, kind of stay within sports. That'd be interesting. But I worked at the campus radio station at Georgetown College, did news updates there, and just really got into it, did an internship in a local newsroom, and really saw how it worked and decided I'd give it a try. So got a first job at WYMT in Eastern Kentucky. Enjoyed my 2 years there. Great place to start. Got to meet a lot of great people, and then got to come home here to Lexington.
We talked to Jim last week. He also served a much longer time
Yes.
in
As
YMT.
did many of the people on our staff. It's
Yeah.
kind of the training ground for
It is.
WKYT.
Yeah, it's almost their minor leagues. It's kind of like the feeder system.
Yeah,
Start off
and you're
YMT.
from here too. You're a local
am.
girl. I'm a local girl, so it
Yeah.
is cool to be able to come home and deliver the news. So where did you go to high school? Who were you in high school?
I went to Lexington Christian Academy. Went there my whole life, kindergarten all the way through senior year of high school. Played basketball and volleyball while I was there. I loved sports. Also swam growing up, but yeah, just really any sport I was involved in.
So what was it like whenever you realized you were going to start working here, working around people who you grew up watching?
Yeah.
Because I think that's for all three
That
of us.
made me so nervous.
For all,
Uh-huh.
for all three of us, we watched Barb, Bill, Sam. So what was that like?
I found this old home video. I think it was like last year. I showed it to Dave Baker, but I was probably 2 years old, just sitting in the floor. My mom was reading me a book, and you could hear the TV in the background. And he has that distinct voice. And sure enough, it was Buzz giving a sportscast in the background of this old home video from 1990. And he loved getting to see that. But it was kind of nerve-wracking at first because these are people that you've watched, and you never thought you'd be working alongside of them and doing what they do and being a colleague of theirs. But it is really cool, and you know that you're working with some of the best around because they've been here.
Now, who
Ever.
were you most intimidated by?
Probably Bill at first, just before I got to know him, because he's Bill Bryant, and I'm really interested in politics, and he's like
Yeah.
Mr.
And he knows his
Politics,
stuff.
and now I can just walk by his desk and chit chat about
Mm-hmm.
sometimes politics, sometimes just life, and not intimidated at all by him. Respect him very much,
Right.
but also know that he's a good guy to go just chat with.
Mine was Rob Bromley.
Really?
That voice. And I don't follow sports very closely, but I obviously knew who he was. But he came in, I was filling in on the evening show for the first time, and Sam was anchoring with me, which was already, I was like over the moon, like so starstruck. And then Rob Bromley came in that voice, because that's how he really talks. He doesn't put on a voice. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Did you have anyone?
For me, it was Barb, because she's so proper and put together, and just always, then as I got to know her, she's so sweet, and she just wants to help you. And I don't know, you just get to realize that they're just people doing their job, and you kind of get to know them, and it's just, it's not intimidating at all, like Hillary said. But for me, it was Barb. I was like, oh, I don't want to say anything out of line.
I know. I still feel that way to some extent. You're on your best behavior in front of her, right? I am, for sure.
Yes.
So you are an MMJ. So you're one of these people that, you do it all. What are some of the struggles? What is that like for you? You have to be a jack of all trades.
You do, and I think I got spoiled when I was pregnant because I got to work with a photog, so that was nice, and it's going to be a rude awakening being back and having to MMJ again. But probably the biggest challenge is just getting everything that I need, and making sure the video looks right, but also thinking through the questions and making sure I ask the right things, making sure the microphone's turned on, making sure the camera's recording, and not getting back to the station and being like, oops, forgot to hit that button.
I always have that fear that while I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, okay, let me double check I'm actually recording. That's because I've done that before. Have you?
Yep.
Yeah. You get back.
I think after you do it once, you probably don't do it again.
It is very much a learning experience. Yeah, it's a one-time mistake, but you definitely.
And it's funny. I know any of us, when we pull up somewhere and it's just us carrying all our stuff in, everyone's always like, oh, it's just you?
I know.
Yep. Just me.
Do you want me to carry that for you? That's what they always ask if you want me to carry that. They say, well, they should pay you double.
I'm surprised they ask you that. I would think they'd ask the females, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, well, Victor.
Maybe I
just look like you need help.
Like I need help, yeah, exactly.
Poor baby.
I mean, I probably do.
In more ways than one, let's be honest here. So do you have any stories that stick out to you? I don't know, like for funny reasons or just something that you just really loved?
I'm sure there are if I sat down and really thought about it.
Again, this is one of those times where we should have given her more time to prepare.
Well, I know you all understand too. Like, obviously it's my first day back, but once you are in the swing of things, you forget what you did the day before. I really enjoyed last year. I covered the legislature a lot, and there was a lot going on.
Which helped as you did more of them because you were aware of what had happened before, the stuff that. Yeah.
It is nice when you kind of get a beat, so to speak, and can actually, research stuff, understand stuff, and not just be thrown out and have to learn it off the cuff. So that was interesting last year. I always enjoy court-related things. Most people find it boring for the most part, but I don't mind covering court. I don't mind covering politics stuff. So
hate it.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad. You two are the exact opposite of me. I'm like, please don't make me go there.
I enjoy getting to take detailed notes and then go back and look through them.
And you're good at it. So we're so thankful to have you back.
Being able to break down something, a complicated court hearing or something, something people can understand.
And I remember your streak in Frankfort. How many days in a row were you in Frankfort at one point?
I lost count.
It was insane. It was like every day you just have another one and another one and another one.
It was.
I had a similar thing in Moorhead one year.
Just there every day.
Yeah, just every day.
Day.
Yeah. So one of the things, especially for all of us here, that we have to deal with is sometimes you cover stories. Being from this area, it helps to know people, but sometimes you have to cover stories, people that you know, that you grew up with.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've had a few recently.
And a lot of times it's better off to just hand it to somebody who's not involved that way. There's no question. But sometimes it's nothing you're really connected to. You just happen to know people. What is that like for you?
I have found that a couple of times, and it is easier to just hand it off to somebody and say, here's who you can talk to, and just because you don't want to get involved in what might be going on, but sometimes it's good things or fun things, and that's exciting to get to go highlight somebody that you know or an organization that you're familiar with, and it's the good and the bad of being from here. I guess I definitely would prefer being from here than not doing this job. It makes day in, day out a lot easier. You kind of know what makes the place tick. You know who to talk to. You know what kind of stories people are going to like.
You already have all those connections, but again, sometimes that's the bad thing is you already have all those connections. I've had instances, where we've found stories and it's like, oh, my family's friends with that family.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Somebody else needs to cover that.
Or a mugshot pops up and you're like, oop, we went to high school
The
together.
mugshot pops up and you're like, oh, I went to prom with her.
Wait, that happened, and I definitely
Yes.
called you out for that
That
and
was
told
funny.
everybody. And he's like, Andrea, you're not supposed to tell everyone.
Yes, I
You
think
made
you
the
were
mistake
off
of
that
texting
day.
me.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned is don't tell Andrea something you don't want the entire newsroom to know,
Yeah.
because that will happen. But, you know, she was,
Well, you learned.
I did. I learned a lesson. So, now I just don't tell you anything. It's been great. So, I'm trying to think. So, and tell us about your family. You come from, you're surrounded by attorneys at this point, is that right?
I am.
Oh
My
my
dad's
gosh,
an
you are.
attorney. My husband's an attorney. I grew up working in my dad's law office on summer and winter break, so I was used to it. My mom's a retired teacher. She taught for several years. Stopped teaching around when she had my younger twin brothers, who are still in school. One's in law school, one's in med school at UK.
So they're doing all
gonna
right.
have another
Yeah.
attorney. Yes, yeah. They enjoy school, so more power to them.
And that never crossed your mind to become an attorney as well?
No, people always ask me that, and I got like the book to study for the LSAT and thought about it, and I think at that point in life I was done with school, was ready to
I don't
get out
blame
and work.
you.
And my husband tells me every day, like, I would have hated law school because I can't sit down and read for hours. I can, but I'll go back and I'll have no clue what I just read because
Oh.
my mind, it just doesn't go like that.
So we are back. That phone call you heard was Hillary actually getting a call about a story. So she's set that up now, and when we're done, she'll go do that. Kind of, we're on all the time.
Mm-hmm. So this is your first day back. We already mentioned that. What were some things you missed, and what were some things you did not miss?
Well, I definitely miss, being around everybody and being in the newsroom. And I think we all are in this because we kind of like being in the know, so to speak, and staying up to date with what's going on. So that was, I think, my first couple days off. Like, I would check my work phone and my email every once in a while, but quickly, like a weekend, I
Let it go.
charged my work phone for like the first time last night because it was dead. And so I missed that part of it. I missed getting out and covering things. Like, I'd see things in the news and be like, oh, that would have been fun to cover. That's exciting. Probably didn't miss it kind of goes both ways. Like, you miss the stress of it and like the deadlines and the not being able to find somebody to do an interview and phone call after phone call, but then like you also kind of miss it.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of boring without it.
yeah. So I mean, I'm glad to get back. Definitely being back, I'll have more of structure and schedule about my day than I did at home. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
So tell us about your little girl.
Hadley Elizabeth.
I will say the one thing my wife said whenever she went back to work was that she felt like it wasn't fair because the time she was home with her was when she was kind of a blob, as we talked about
blob.
earlier. But about the time you start to go back is when they start to develop
Right.
personalities and you start to get to know them.
Really, the past 2 to 3 weeks, she started where she thinks she can talk and will just babble, and she'll sit there and have a little conversation with you, and she'll smile, and she's really starting to play with some of her toys, grab at things, look at things other than just staring at the ceiling. That used to amuse her for hours, and we'd look up there and be like, what are you looking at? So that is true, and now it's like, oh, I don't get to see you all day now when you're doing fun stuff. But she's in good hands, and she is more fun than we could have ever imagined. We've loved having her. We can't imagine life without her now. She arrived fashionably late. She was a little bit overdue, but that's fine. Was a little bit bigger than we expected and has continued to grow. But we're just excited to see, as she continues to grow and what all she'll do.
How much did she weigh?
She weighed 8 pounds, 12 ounces when she was born.
That was close to me. I was 9 pounds, and my brother was 10.
You're
my
a big
poor
baby.
mother.
Wow.
I know. My poor mother.
She's very long too. She doesn't
Basketball
have
player like her
those- yeah.
mama.
Which I'm not tall, but I'm just probably like normal, more on the short side probably than tall, and my husband's just average, so we don't know if that length keeps up where it comes from. But while she was bigger than we expected, she didn't really have those cute baby fat rolls yet because she's long.
She'll go.
And I know when she went to her 2-month checkup and those dreaded shots, the nurse was like, "Oh, she needs to get some fat on her legs. We don't have any fat to put these shots in."
Oh my gosh!
You feel
Don't
like such a
wish
bad person.
for it.
We traded off every time we would get shots. Mandy's like, no, now you get to hold her. She's afraid that she's going to look at me and be like, oh, look what you did to me.
Oh gosh!
It was awful. I mean, she was just loving life too, like hamming it up, smiling, and that nurse just held her down, and she got all red and kind of like shook, and then just screamed.
Oh no! I know my mom complained though about having to pull my fat rolls apart whenever I was a baby to wash me and to put all the baby powder so I didn't chafe. Oh come on now!
So something else we have in common: you had a first child, just like me and Mandy. Our dog Vader.
Right. It's been an adjustment.
I say first child. You all had your dog.
Yeah.
What's life been like?
She's doing really good. We were a little bit worried.
What's her name?
Macy.
Macy. There we go.
Was she jealous?
I don't know that she was so much jealous as just confused a little bit at first. And she's a very high anxiety dog anyway, rescue dog. And she's gotten better with age. But, I mean, she's very anxious. And the first 2 days she was at home with us because we wanted her to be there and not, like her be gone and then come back to like this whole change.
Yeah.
But anybody with a new child knows, like, you have a lot of visitors in and out, so it was just constant people in and out, and she was stressed to the max. And,
Poor puppy.
And it was hard for us to, take care of the baby and her too. So actually one day we were at a doctor's checkup, and my mom came to our house and kidnapped Macy for a week, and she got to be spoiled over at my parents' house. And once everything calmed down a little bit, all the visitors had been there, and we were in kind of a routine. She came back, and she's been fine.
A little retreat.
We ended up having to crate Vader again because he started digging at the carpet whenever we'd leave with her.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah, he's a very protective big brother.
Yeah.
Now, couples are always saying, like, oh, we're going to get a dog first and then the baby. Does that do anything to prepare you?
No.
I'm always just like, what is the rationale for that? They're like, well, first
The
we had
moment
a
you can open the back
dog.
door and send the kid out to go pee,
Yeah.
then if you train them to do that, then there's some similarity.
I really hope that's not your plan
Well, once she starts walking, we'll see.
for poor Vera.
Maybe get her around.
Get her potty trained.
But no, because obviously if a dog starts crying, you can just ignore it and
Right.
and stick them in another room. It doesn't really work.
Or
for the
like
baby.
if a dog gets the sniffles, like Hadley had her first little congestion a couple weeks ago.
Aww.
And so of course, like at night when we're like every hour peeking over, making sure like she hasn't like choked or still breathing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Now, one thing I've always noticed that you have such a calm presence. You know what I mean? And I feel like it has not changed at all since your maternity leave. You're the exact same person. You know how a lot of parents, first-time parents, are very cautious, overly cautious, like freak out about everything. You don't have that, do you?
I guess in some ways, I mean, like I was guilty of sitting there and like Googling every little thing the
Every
first
single
few
malady
weeks,
that
and my
popped up,
husband
yeah.
was finally like, "Stop Googling things." And
You can't look
did
at
that.
WebMD or you'll know
Yeah.
you're dying of everything. Yeah.
And, but no, I mean, I've stayed pretty calm. I still like worry, obviously, and people told us like when we were thinking about where to go for a pediatrician, they're like, think about it because you'll be there a lot. And we were kind of like, no, I don't think we're gonna be those parents that like with every little thing we call and are like, can we come in? And but like there's been 2 or 3 times already where we've called and been like, hey, can we come in? And it was fine. Like there was nothing wrong with her.
You
And
just get sick a lot.
but it makes you feel better to go in and get a doctor's opinion instead of Googling it yourself. And but yeah, I've tried to stay my calm, and I think
You're a good
too that
presence.
maybe it's like rubbed off on her a little bit too, because she is a pretty calm baby,
Chill
except when
baby.
she's hungry. Then
Same.
she goes from 0 to 100 if she's hungry. Like she can
Same.
be
Yeah,
fine.
We're
and
the
then
same way. Yeah. that's kind of
You never grow out of that.
what I feel like. Yeah, she might as well just get ready for that.
yeah,
So it's your
That's
first
right.
Christmas too with the baby.
It
Do you have the
is.
ornament?
we have several. Yeah.
I still have my baby's first Christmas ornament. My mom still has it
Yeah.
at home. Do you have one for
I
Vera?
do. Well, I've got one. Oh, we got. I have too many of everything for Vera.
Aw.
But yeah, I've got mine too. I've got my little baby's first Christmas ornament. It's got Kermit the Frog on it.
Cute. I love it.
Yeah, it's a Big Muppet fan.
So sweet. So we did a whole thing about favorite Christmas movies last week.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know, what are yours?
This episode will be coming out the day after Christmas.
Ah.
So it's still Christmas time. Still
Okay.
people still hanging out.
Well, I love the Christmas Vacation. Can quote the
There
whole
we go.
thing.
That was a big one for
Mentioned
us.
it on the show multiple
Can
times
quote
this
the
morning.
whole thing. Elf, I always find funny.
That was also one of mine. She is not that big a fan of Elf.
I
Really?
don't.
Yeah, keep giving her that stare. Let her know how wrong. There we go. I like that.
See, that's the
Hillary will never say a bad word about people, but she will.
never.
Christmas with the Cranks. I think that one's funny. This year on Netflix, a new one, The Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles. I told you you need
I
to watch
haven't
that.
seen
with
that
Kurt
one
Russell.
yet.
Everyone needs to watch. It's very good.
I enjoyed it. It was a good family Christmas movie.
And
Well, I
I will
know what I'm
say it
doing.
was a good change. I fell into the trap of all
The
the
Hallmark.
and they're all the same. They're all these like they end up together, all these romantic. So that was a good change of pace because that's not a
No
romantic
spoilers.
Christmas movie. So it's a different plot
Okay.
than you'll be
I
used
saw a post I
to.
enjoyed the other day. It said women want a guy who's like a man in the Hallmark Christmas movies. How you become a widower with one child is up to you.
Oh,
They
Because
are
all-
always,
that took a dark turn, Victor.
Which is why I laughed at it because.
and they're always
Dark
like going great, and then something happens, someone gets mad, leaves,
yeah.
gets mad.
There's a
There's
misunderstanding.
a
Look,
formula.
and there's only like 20 minutes left in the movie, and you're like, they're gonna need to like get
This
it
has to
together
resolve quick,
quickly
yeah.
because we know they're gonna end up together.
Of course.
lot
That's
of
part of the beauty, though.
misunderstandings.
It's easy. There's easy listening. It's easy watching. You don't have to pay attention.
Another thing I enjoyed, somebody said, well, how do you know if you'll enjoy a Hallmark movie? It's like, well, if you're watching a Hallmark movie, you'll enjoy the Hallmark movie. Because it's never like, oh, I don't know if I like this one. If you're in, you're in.
Oh, I love them. I can't get enough.
I'm guessing you're the audience.
I am their target.
We'll usually I'll be sitting there watching like some wrestling on my phone, and my wife will be watching a Hallmark movie, and we're both just happy and content.
I love it.
Yeah. Now, what does your husband think whenever you're in the Hallmark spiral, as we
He
call it?
hasn't, he's watched some of them with me, and he doesn't seem to mind it too much. I've even caught him like when a new one, because new ones had been coming out on Thursdays and Sundays at 8, and I caught him DVRing one.
Oh.
He's been busted.
Did he say it was for you?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, because he knew I'd be home wanting something to watch, but he hasn't really complained too much about him. So.
How did you two meet?
We both went to LCA in high school.
Mm-hmm.
He came to LCA our sophomore year. We were in kind of the same group of friends, and then we got set up on a double date that we thought was just going to be like a big group of people going to a movie, but it was just us and this other couple.
You're like, well.
And so that was senior year of high school, and we started dating then. And then we both went to Georgetown for college. And
High school sweethearts.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
high school sweethearts.
That ship has sailed for me.
You had a lot of ships sail.
I know.
We did 3 years of long distance when I was at YMT. He was in Alabama at law school. So
Oh, wow. That was
That's
a
tough.
long
So we
distance.
did
I thought
3
you just
years
meant
of
from
that.
Lexington
No.
to. Oh, boy. Well, yeah, if it lasts through that, then you can pretty much make it through anything at that point.
How did you survive the mountains? I don't understand. See, Jim is from there.
Yeah, so he
you know
was
what I
already
mean? So that's not.
preconditioned.
Yeah.
He spoke the language.
But I interviewed there and they did not hire me. So there's that story.
But yeah, you went from Lexington to Hazard.
Yeah,
I did.
But I was like, you know what? This is a gift.
I
There's
had the
nothing to do
choice.
there. There's absolutely nothing to
Well,
do
see,
there.
they had 2 openings when I interviewed. They had a position in Hazard, and then they had a big Sandy Bureau reporter out of Pikeville. And so I had to choose between Hazard and Pikeville, and I chose Pikeville. So I lived in Pikeville, and there's a little bit more to do, and
Pikeville's a little bigger city.
it's been growing, and there's variety of restaurants and stores,
We've
and
got an Applebee's.
I'm used to that. That's all I had in Nicholasville when I grew up. So
but it was a great place to start. Super nice people, and but yeah, Jim. I mean, he is
He is
one
the
of them.
mountains.
So
He
fit
is
right
the
in.
He is one of
mountains.
them.
Oh my gosh. I hope he has a tattoo somewhere.
People
That
always
animals.
ask me when they found out I was from Lexington. They were like, "You did it backwards. Everyone leaves here and goes to Lexington. Why are you here?"
But see, I would have never wanted to start here where people could see me. I was so grateful that I started somewhere else where I didn't know anybody.
Right.
Lexington was my first on-air.
I was embarrassing.
Oh, I was horrible. So that's the good thing about going to a smaller market is you get to make all your mistakes
Exactly.
there.
Work out the kinks
Yep.
somewhere else. Yes. Do you have any stories of I don't know, about something you did crazy
Somebody
wrong.
was asking me this the other day if I'd done anything like blooper reel worthy, and I couldn't really, knock on wood,
I wish we kept our blooper reels.
think of anything. I've had, the funny, like, where people do stuff behind you, or
I had a kid doing the robot the other day.
I had one guy I think he literally just was oblivious, because, we'll get the random people walk in the shop behind. He walked in between me and the camera. Like, he walked in front of me during the live
rude.
shot. And I was just like...
Was it live?
Yes.
Of course. Of course. See, here's the bad thing. At my old station, Bowling Green, they used to keep a blooper reel of you, and they would play that when you left on your final night. But I gamed the system because I was a producer on my last show, so I made sure there was no time. But I do have my blooper reel. Yeah, I have it, and they're fun. I mean, you have to learn to laugh at yourself when you're on television.
I think probably and it wasn't my doing, and this will probably embarrass Bill.
Yes, tell it.
When I was on the morning show, and it was during the presidential campaigning, he tossed me as Hillary Clinton.
I remember this story.
And you all know with like the TVU, there's a delay.
3-second delay.
So I didn't hear it, but the producer was cracking up when she cued me. And so I thought somebody was like doing something behind me. Like I had no idea it had happened.
And you just had to roll with it.
No.
I would have been like, "What? Do I have a booger?" I was like,
Yeah.
"What is it? What are you laughing at?"
Back to you guys.
Oh, and then later you found out.
So that was
Oh,
pretty
Bill.
funny.
That's funny.
That happens though. Sometimes you say
It
this
does.
word and like you just naturally, you've said Hillary Clinton so many times
Right.
it just starts rolling off your tongue.
Or you just forget people's names. I tossed Emily Royal one morning in the newsroom, and I'm like, Emily,
I know.
I think I eventually got it out, but yeah, and it's like she sits right in front of me. I know her name, but
Right.
for some reason. Yeah, it's a weird business.
Yeah.
What we do is kind of crazy anyway. You're just sitting around, sometimes talking to yourself into the camera.
Right. Bunch of weirdos.
People walk by and look at you, and it's always funny too, because I think if I'm standing and talking into a camera, I know that thousands of people are watching, and that doesn't seem odd to me. But if there's somebody, sometimes you'll see people just sitting there watching you.
Oh, I
while you're
can't
shooting,
handle
and
it.
you feel
I
weird.
know.
Like 2 people watching you do it is odd, but 1,000 people
Right.
seeing the finished product is no big deal.
If someone tells me, "Oh, I'm going to watch you tomorrow morning," I'm like, "Please do not tell me that. Do not tell me that."
Because they don't
then
think
I'll be
about you
nervous.
specifically
and
watching.
they're like, "But so many people are watching." I'm like, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just weird. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense."
Well, Hillary, any last words before we go? Where can people find you on social media?
My Twitter handle is at Hillary WKYT.
1 L or 2?
2 L's.
Okay.
Just like Hillary Clinton, so it's easy to get confused.
I love it. Well, Hillary, thank you so much. Welcome back. Happy
Thank
to have
you.
you back.
Yeah,
Thanks.
glad to have you. So that was our conversation with Hillary. How you feel that went, Andrea?
I thought it was great. I really like Hillary. She's kind of one of the quieter people in the newsroom, so it is harder to get to know Hillary. But she's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like I said, she has the most calming presence that is really good to offset me.
Just a good person, which is sometimes a rarity in the newsroom. Because, look at us.
Look at us. And Jim, come
Yeah,
on.
oh, no.
You've seen some of the
I would
worst
not
of the
describe
worst.
any of us as good people. But yeah, it's nice to talk to her and just see, what else she got coming back. And, you saw just getting right back into the swing of it. Day one, during the...
She took a call in the middle
of
the
the
podcast.
Yeah. So as we're wrapping up here, I guess, like I said, this will come out the day after Christmas. You have any Christmas plans that you will have finished by now?
Well, my mom said that she just wants to stay home and not leave the house all day. So
That's a great plan.
Doesn't that sound wonderful?
Yep.
She's like, we should watch some movies. And she's so out of it. She has no idea what's going on in pop culture. Like, she has no idea what movies have come out recently.
And you should definitely watch Ready Player One with her.
Maybe that's the one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's up her alley, though.
Might be a little, yeah, okay.
That might
What
be.
about Die Hard? I can bring that in for you.
Maybe we'll watch Die Hard for Christmas, since it is allegedly a Christmas movie.
Yes, it's not legend. Well, I'm not going to get into that again. Anyway,
We've already had this discussion.
we've had
once.
this discussion
All
once.
right, well, we were told that we rambled too long.
no. Before we go, your recommendation for this week. What are you enjoying?
Oh, gosh.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Mine is a board game. I know you're surprised by that.
Shocking.
I've tried to limit my board game talk on here too much because I have a tendency to ramble about it. But there's a new version of Fireball Island, which is a game that came out originally when I was a kid. There's a new one. It's large. Your adventures on an island, and you drop marbles, and they can knock you down. It's a lot of fun. It's a family game, but I enjoy it too. So that's my recommendation. Go out to one of your local gaming stores, pick up Fireball Island.
I love you, Victor. You never disappoint.
What's your recommendation?
All right, so mine's alcohol related. Why not? So I don't think this is original, but I've never had anyone make it for me. So I was like, they were having apple cider samples at Walmart the other day, and the lady sucked me in. I'm a sucker every time. So, but it was really good apple cider, and I bought some Fireball to go with it.
Apple pie.
It was amazing.
I'm not a big Fireball fan, but I guess since I said Fireball Island, there you go. They're both Fireball
Maybe that's
related.
where it came to me, but I like it both with the hot and the cold. It's good either way.
There you go.
Fire and ice.
Have you a Fireball night? Go get Fireball Island the game. Go get you some Fireball and some apple cider. All right. Well, we've devolved here, but thank you all so much for listening. And we'll be back next week. When are we going to talk to Ken Harvner?
Maybe not.
Right.
He didn't seem very excited when I asked him to do it, so we'll see when we can finally wrangle him in.
Is that going to be a difficulty finding people who are willing to talk to us, as ridiculous as we are?
Probably.
All right. I think I'm fine with that.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.